Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon were euthanized despite being under sanctuary care. Today, I'm joined by Maria Proietti, a New York attorney with a passion for saving animals, to talk about this case and the proposed Peanuts law. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you. It's
Thank
great
you.
to be here.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. For those of you who may be new to the show, I'm Anne Angelo Webb, and for over 20 years as the owner of Animal Intuitive Academy and Intuitive Touch Animal Care, I provided individual animal communication and training. I'm also nationally board certified in animal acupressure massage and neuro-based coaching for humans, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And here on the Animal Intuitive channel, we dive into ways to connect more deeply with animals, explore holistic care options, support pet parents, and interview experts in animal care and advocacy, which is why Maria is here. And Maria, I really appreciate you being here to help us explore if there's something positive that could come out of such a heartbreaking situation. So I want to start off just by acknowledging the family of Peanut and Fred. And Peanut and Fred, my heart was just broken when I saw this on the news. To the family, you've been in my prayers, and I want to dedicate this episode to you, Peanut and Fred. Okay, so that being said, Maria, I want to just see if you could maybe give us an overview of the situation of this case.
Well, everyone knows beloved Squirrel, and was unfortunately an internet sensation with his friend, Fred the raccoon, that was also at the sanctuary. They were confiscated by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation because it is actually illegal in New York to keep squirrels and raccoons. Even if you're a sanctuary, you need to be a licensed rehab facility. And what happened was people called in complaints, and unfortunately, the DEC took action. Now, the euthanization was allegedly because Peanut supposedly bit one of the DEC officers. And although squirrels rarely carry rabies because he was in contact with Fred the raccoon, they were worried that it would be a public health risk. So unfortunately, they supposedly euthanized both Peanut and Fred.
Talk to us a little bit about some things about this case that inspired you to get involved with putting together Peanut's Law. You know, what is your background too? A little bit. We didn't get to kind of talk about that and how you came to be a lawyer who would be handling cases like this.
Well, I've always had a passion for animals. I've been in animal rescue my entire life, and I'm currently on the New York Bar Association's legislative subcommittee of its Committee on Animals and Law. So I'm trying to get help with my committee members get more animal welfare laws passed. And this law in particular was brought to light by Assemblyman Jake Blumenkrantz. He's from Long Island. So he's actually proposed Peanut's Law. I just offered my legal services if he needs it. And we've been in touch about various amendments and things of that sort to the proposed law.
Okay. And there's a change.org too, people. We're going to talk
Correct.
about where people can get involved. So I'm going to put that up on the screen in a minute. So maybe tell us, just go more into depth about what the law proposes so that we can prevent something like my animals are the joint behind us. So maybe tell us a little bit more in depth how to prevent such a tragedy from happening in the future.
Well, the first thing is to be a licensed rehab facility. But even more important than that, the Peanuts Law proposal will have a 72-hour waiting period before euthanizing any sanctuary animal. And this is done so that there's time to arrange veterinary care, there's time to appeal, and things of that nature.
At this point, I mean, when you look at the situation in hindsight, is there anything that could have been done different legally?
Well, I mean, they followed the law, so that's why the law needs to be amended and Peanuts Law needs to be passed, because there needs to be at least a 72-hour waiting period before euthanizing the animals. And also part of the law is that there has to be an immediate danger to the animal itself or the public for there's euthanization. So, I mean, this euthanization happened fairly quickly, but I know there was the whole issue of Peanut biting the DEC agent.
Right. And I guess my understanding is that you have to, unfortunately, the option in their minds was that they had to put Peanut down in order to determine if Peanut had rabies, and
Correct.
the agent's life could have been at risk. Let's talk about just the transparency aspect of it, which is important for public trust and accountability.
Right. Well, it's absolutely, I mean, state agencies are for the people, and there must be public trust and accountability. So having the transparency and accountability aspect allows more trust for the public. Like they haven't, the DEC has not even released any of the, information on did they even have rabies. So, I mean, these are things that the public needs to know and should be required under the law. But again, the most important thing is the 72-hour waiting period and the clear immediate risk criteria. It ensures that the animal will only be euthanized during the waiting period if a licensed veterinarian confirms a direct immediate risk to public safety. So those are the two most vital, because I mean, it happened so quickly that they euthanized Peanut and Fred. So that part of the law really needs to.
And I don't even understand, why was Fred euthanized if Peanut, bit them. I question that they needed to do this to Peanut, but let's just say that they were forced to. There was no other option. Why did they euthanize Fred if he didn't bite anybody?
They were not clear on the rate. Well, raccoons are clear transmitters of rabies. So, I mean.
But he didn't bite anybody, right?
Exactly. According to them, he did not bite. It was Peanut that bit them.
And so they just.
So it's just, well, they're supposedly doing an internal investigation on this. So
okay.
It's definitely needed.
Do you think that the family is perhaps going to take legal action against?
Well, that's what I know that Mark Longo had released a statement that he was going to pursue, legal action.
Poor people, what they've been through. Because it wasn't just that they put them outside of their house, and they were went through their house, and there was a search warrant. And I mean, it was really, there's some talk, of course, that this is just government overreach. I'm wondering what you think about that.
Well, that's Trump's campaign had weighed in on this with Elon Musk as well. And they specifically mentioned Peanut and claiming it's government overreach. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm just pushing for Jake Blumenkranz's law, try to help this law get passed, because it's very important for the protection of the animals, to make sure that they are not euthanized in the meantime while the appeals and everything, unless there's a clear immediate risk.
Right, because then I'm wondering about other people right now who have animals that they did, I don't know, maybe, because also if we take a step back, weren't they in the process of getting a license?
Yes.
Like that?
Yes. So that was one of the proposed amendments to the law, is that there be some kind of waiting period also for if the sanctuary wants to apply to be a licensed wildlife rehabilitation facility. Mm-hmm. Because under the law now, they're the only ones. So let's say you find a squirrel that's been hit by a car.
Right.
Like I've done in the past. I bring them to a licensed wildlife facility.
Okay.
Because the state feels that, they have the training, the licensing to handle these animals properly, and a sanctuary may not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so under the proposed law, if somebody sort of wants to set themselves up as a rescue, or
correct,
they could have some time, like a little waiting period.
Exactly.
Or anything like this happens again, which is what they were doing, is what the Longos were doing, right? So do you think that this could influence laws in other states?
Well, absolutely. That's what case law is about. Judges, courts, assembly committees, they look to other states, see what other states have done regarding wildlife and animal protection. So I think this would have a great impact on wildlife law in the United States. I mean, I believe one of the legislators in Wyoming had released a statement that this was government overreach. So, I mean, other states are definitely interested in this case.
Okay, fantastic. Now, people who would like to get involved, there is a change.org petition going around that you can sign. I'll put the link in the description of this video too, but it's probably, if you just Google change.org and pass Peanuts law, I would think it would take you there, but I will have a link in the description for that too. So far.
And I've also been in touch with Jake Blumenkrantz. There's going to be proposed amendments also, such as to what's actually on the change.org website, such as allowing a waiting period for a sanctuary to get licensed and things of that sort.
Okay. People who have animals right now that are maybe in that in-between period, or they haven't even taken that step to apply, do you have any advice for them at this point in time?
I would bring them, so this doesn't happen again and the animal gets euthanized, just please bring them to a licensed wildlife rehabilitation facility. I believe the DEC has the list of facilities on their website.
Okay.
So, I mean, once you bring it to them, I mean, I've tons and tons of animals. I mean, I've rescued hawks that hit on the highway, squirrels, things of that nature. I always bring them to a licensed wildlife rehabilitation. I mean, this is not the law in every state.
Okay.
So, but I mean, at least those in New York, you can't, unfortunately, even a sanctuary, you just cannot treat. The list of animals that I believe is also on the DEC website.
Okay.
And squirrels and raccoons are two of the types of animals that need to be brought to a licensed rehab.
If you're in another state outside of New York, please check. If you're not,
exactly.
So go to the change.org, please, everybody who's watching this, and you can sign on there, kind of see where we're at this point. It looks like right now we've got 401 signatures. How many is there like a certain amount of signatures you need?
No, I don't believe so. Because what happens is it's proposed and the bills have to pass through both houses of the legislature in New York, the Assembly and the Senate. Before that's done, it goes through the committees. And once it's approved by the committee, then they put it on the calendar to vote on the bill.
So really the signatures are just sort of to show that
exactly, so that there's momentum and the public is really wants this law to be passed. I mean, look what happened with Flacco's law got passed in New York City. No more rat poison, because poor Flacco, what happened was he ate a rat that was poisoned, and that's why he crashed into the building on the Upper West Side.
Right.
So, I mean, public outcry was tremendous, and Flacco's law got passed. So we really need public support.
Right. So please, everybody, go there and sign that and share it on your social media, share it with friends and family. You know, there's no getting Peanut and Fred back, and I'm sure the family, is just absolutely devastated. But at least something like this, it means that what has happened, their names there's a legacy for them that can carry on and save other animals. So is there anything that we haven't discussed that you think is important to mention or to share with people? No, I know there's animal lovers out there that have a good heart, but please don't try and rehabilitate the animal. There's tons of wonderful licensed rehab facilities that you could bring the animal to, and they have the means and to help the animal and save the animal. So please do that. Don't try and save it on your own, even if you're a sanctuary. So even if you're a sanctuary? Correct, because the state feels you're not licensed in the wildlife rehabilitation. But this is regarding those animals. I think the list is on the DEC website, such as squirrels, raccoons. I think foxes is on the list, things of that nature. So if you find a type of animal that is on the list, they need to be brought to it's not like a cat and a dog where you could, do it yourself, bring it to your local vet.
So these animals specifically need to be brought to licensed rehab facilities.
Yeah, don't get attached. Take them there first before you get attached, because
Yeah, exactly.
they're
Under the law, they can't be pets in New York. So,
okay in New York.
I mean, I think Florida is different.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature. I think you can have prairie dogs and things of that sort as a pet in other states, but in New York, they need to be brought to a licensed rehab.
Okay. Yeah, New York, we need, not we, I mean New Jersey, but similar. It's usually laws are very strict about a lot of things, so it's not a surprise. Maria, thank you so much for taking the time to educate us about this. Yeah, and hopefully this will save a lot of people and animals heartache, save some lives. And again, our heart goes out to the Longo family and to Peanut and Fred. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you for being here, and God bless everyone and your wonderful animals and family. Start communicating with animals today with this special offer from the Animal Intuitive. Enhance emotional, behavioral, and physical wellness for both you and your pet with this innovative telepathic animal communication course. Includes acupressure points for you and your pets for relaxation and increased awareness of what animals are thinking and feeling, grounding and mindfulness meditations with isochronic tones and binaural beats, and much more. Brought to you by the Animal Intuitive, internationally recognized animal communication instructor with over 20 years of experience and nationally board certified animal acupressure and massage practitioner. Just go to intuitivetouchanimalcare.com to the courses page or use the QR code. And for this special limited time offer, use code ANIMALINTUITIVE. Listen close. Rub my belly,